Alright guys, in today's video we are talking about the PlayStation 5 and the big third-party exclusive deals that Sony apparently has locked in and they're going to be revealing over the course of the next year. We have a little bit of a follow-up on this, and I find it incredibly interesting for multiple reasons. This follow-up is once again coming from Imran Khan, and he is letting us know that there is not a single third-party publisher out there that Sony has not approached to try to lock in some exclusivity deals. And he also went on to say that Microsoft is also and has also been doing the same thing. The only real difference is that Sony is willing to pay a much higher price in order to secure these deals, whereas Microsoft is not, and Microsoft ends up walking away. Now, you guys already know why this is doubly interesting, because how many times have we been hearing that Sony is so anti-consumer, whereas Microsoft is so pro-consumer? But it turns out, if this is to be believed, which I think it is, turns out Microsoft is not as pro-consumer as you might want to think. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're also talking about the Xbox Series S, because it seems all but confirmed at this point, due to some leaked controller packaging, that this console is in fact real, and it will most likely be revealed officially within the coming weeks. So I think this is important to highlight because it seems to be, again, the closest thing to official confirmation that we have of this console. There are still some people who I believe are on the fence about whether or not this is a real console that Microsoft is going to be releasing to combat Sony and have it come in at a much lower price point. But we do have some leaked imaging here that seems to confirm it. So this is what we're talking about. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification icon as well. But diving in here, talking about Sony approaching pretty much all third-party publishers, says over the past few days we have started learning more of Sony's strategy regarding the PS5 exclusivity deals, and a recent report suggests that the Japanese company is being particularly aggressive in this regard. Speaking on the Reset Era forums, Kinda Funny's Imran Khan provided some new information regarding the PS5 deals he talked about yesterday, saying that there is not a major third-party publisher that Sony hasn't approached. There isn't a major third party out there that Sony failed to approach asking what kind of deals they could work out. Some had content, some had games, some had content and games. According to Imran Khan, Microsoft was willing to make offers as well, but they didn't want to pay the asking price, as Sony went with some very high offers in the first place to secure these PS5 deals. It's not like Microsoft was not willing to offer, they just didn't want to pay the asking price because Sony approached with pretty high numbers in the first place. And then Imran Khan also highlighted how the PlayStation 5 Advantage branding and console exclusive wording will be seen a lot in the next few years, and this is exactly what he said. That PlayStation Advantage branding and console exclusive wording are both going to get a lot of use in the next few years. So that is some pretty big information, and Imran Khan has been talking a lot recently. You can tell he wants to let us know what these deals are because he clearly knows what some of them are, but he doesn't want to risk getting in trouble or potentially spoiling a surprise. But he has emphasized to us that Sony has a lot more coming, and that what they do have left to announce, they're pretty huge, and people are going to be shocked. And then he's also coming out here and saying that Sony pretty much went to every single major third-party publisher to see what they could do, giving them a call saying, okay, look, we have the PS5 coming out. We want to know how much you want to make some stuff exclusive, what you're willing to make exclusive. And what makes this even more interesting is, as I said in the beginning of this video, there are a lot of people who are screaming, Sony is anti-consumer, these practices are anti-consumer, and I'm not necessarily going to get into the argument as to whether they're pro or anti-consumer. You already know how I feel about that. To simplify it, if you are a PlayStation owner, it's very understandable that people would perceive this as a pro-consumer move because you own a PlayStation. You invested in one, and Sony's just going out of their way to give you some extra bonuses, some extra perks, and in my opinion, they're doing a incredibly good job trying to convince other people out there who have not invested in the PlayStation ecosystem yet why you might want to consider it. I understand why some people perceive it as anti-consumer, but again, we have to understand that Microsoft is apparently no different in this regard. There's a lot of people who are under the assumption and under the belief that Microsoft is not going out there and trying to strike deals of their own. They absolutely are. And even when Phil Spencer makes it sound like in interviews or conversations that he's against that and he's against the practice, listen, that's fine. He can say those things, but actions speak louder than words. And we've seen that Microsoft is still willing to do marketing deals, but it does, I don't know. I find this interesting because Phil has made it seem in the past like he's completely against any type of timed exclusivity content, but we have to think back to, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Granted, it was quite some time ago, and we remember, I think it was the Division 1 they had some exclusive content with. But it really may come down to they just don't want to pay the asking price. They might just want to save that money. And it's very interesting to me that Imran Khan is saying this, because to me, that sounds much more believable than the idea that they're just trying to be the good guy. Again, this is a conversation we continually have where Microsoft is making different business decisions, keywords being business decisions, that it makes it very easy for them to, when it comes to public perception, to be seen as the good guy, when in reality, the only reason Microsoft isn't the one getting these deals is because they're not willing to pay the asking price to where Sony is. So I find that very interesting, and the more I hear Imran Khan talk about these deals, the more my mind starts racing as to what they could be. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on that, because yeah, I can't wait to see what they are. But moving right along here, talking about the Xbox Series S, there's an original story here that says the Xbox Series S, presumably Project Lockhart, has been confirmed by a leaked Xbox One X controller that has surfaced online. Twitter user Zach S via The Verge claims he managed to pick up the controller via OfferUp, an online marketplace, and posted photos of the controller and the packaging online. As you can see in the embedded tweet below, the box says the controller will work with the Xbox Series X/S. Now, they did update this, and it says we'll be waiting a little longer for the Xbox Series S announcement. A Microsoft spokesperson has said in a statement to Games Radar about the potential console, "We have a lot in store for Xbox in 2020 and can't wait to share with you. However, we have nothing to announce at this time." So there you go, guys. If you were skeptical about the idea of Microsoft having this secret Lockhart Xbox Series S low-end next-gen console, there's no denying that this is clearly proof that it's a real thing. They have it on their packaging for a controller that no consumer is supposed to currently have. And to me, this isn't surprising. I've always believed it. It does make a lot of sense when you look at what Microsoft did in their approach with the Xbox One S and the One X, and they liked that model, so it just makes sense that they would want to continue it. The big question, obviously, is when will it be revealed? Well, I would assume it's probably going to be in the next couple weeks, late August, early September, maybe. Could be even later than that. I think it would be a little strange if it was later than that. But the other big question is, what about pricing? Well, I think it's very obvious that this Series S model will be cheaper than both the Series X, obviously, but also the PS5, because it's the lower end model. The question is, how cheap? I've seen some people say 200. I've seen some people say 250. I've seen others say 300. If I had to give my best guess, just kind of off the top of my head, I'm going to say it's going to be 300. I think that is a good entry price. And if this console is supposed to be a next-gen console and have enough power to justify calling itself a next-gen console, I think, it's going to have some components in there that maybe will lead to a $300 price tag. Now, we've heard that apparently Microsoft is considering selling a SKU of this console without a controller to cut cost. We've heard that it's also digital only to further cut cost. We don't know if any of that is true, but it would make sense if they're really trying to go for something under 300. You could just literally see a box that is a next-gen console without a controller and without a disk drive. Now, that does not mean that they would not sell a version of it with a controller. Of course they would, but you're going to have two different options. I'm assuming this is for the people who currently own an Xbox One and want to, like an Xbox One S, they already have an Xbox One controller and they want to upgrade to something better, and so they can just use their Xbox One controller on the Series S model. That does make sense. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. I will be very interested to see what you have to say. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.